Hello, everyone. Welcome to WisConnect, connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. My name is Sagar Kapoor. I'm part of customer success team at Tableau. So WisConnect is your weekly Tableau community call, which helps you to get inspired and participate in Tableau community events, learn from our Tableau Zen masters, champions, ambassadors, how you can go ahead and improve your craft of data visualization and storytelling, and also in Tableau. So all the sessions which are presented in WisConnect are uploaded to our YouTube channel. Go ahead, subscribe to it. Some great content is waiting for you. We have also started a monthly Tableau Community Data Doctor session with Zen Master Jim Denner. Go ahead, watch it. Some great tips and tips, tricks from him on all the questions which are asked by the data fam in the Tableau community forums. Also, we have a LinkedIn group. Go ahead, connect to each other and learn from each other. And all the content with respect to WisConnect is posted in our LinkedIn group. I hope you had a great Tableau conference. If you missed anything in the conference, go ahead and watch it. All the great sessions, you can go ahead and watch it on demand. Also, we have sessions from the last year conference and 2019. Go ahead and watch it. And I will say rather binge watch it, right? For all the great topics which were presented. With that, let me go ahead and introduce our speakers for today. His name is Arshad Ijaz. So Arshad is a data visualization consultant at KPMG Global Services, where he uses Tableau to create business dashboards for many clients across sectors. He discovered data visualization 2 years ago, and his work turned into a passion for Tableau Public. He actively participates in Workout Wednesday and Makeover Monday challenges. Tableau Public is a key development for his visualization skills, which help him succeed professionally. Data visualization is an art for him, with Tableau as his canvas and Tableau Public the gallery for his work. He is passionate about creating visualization on environmental and social topics. He is an avid Formula One fan, and if you want to connect with him, connect on Twitter and LinkedIn, and he will share it all the details during the session. With that, I will hand it over to Arshad to talk about curving your bar charts and implementation of neuromorphic design elements. Arshad, over to you.
Thanks, Sagar. First of all, I just want to, thank you for giving me this platform. I have been going through the Disconnect sessions, and some of Tableau's best have been on this, presentation of yours. And it feels like such a big opportunity for me to come here and share my work. Uh, you know, First of all, thanks to the DataFam community. I think they are the central and core driving force behind what Tableau is today. They have taken, a visualization tool and the kind of content that they created over Tableau Public over the years. It's absolutely excellent. And not just that, all the Zen masters, the Tableau ambassadors, and all the other creators, they regularly, they have blog posts, they have their own websites, they are sharing the content everywhere, and it's such a great platform to learn from. So maybe that's, I think, the real reason why someone like me is also able to sharpen his skills much faster, and that's why I'm here. And the primary reason for today's show is that I'll take you through one of my own creation. Which was, I think now in retrospect, was pretty unique. I used some really nice calculations to create something really beautiful, which was very well appreciated. Thank you to Tableau. They nominated it as the Viz of the Day as well. So that was great. Uh, Now I'm going to not going to bore you a lot with a big presentation. I made a small one for you all. So I'll just get started with that. Yeah. So who am I? So I am a data visualization consultant. Currently, I'm working with KPMG Global Services, and I'm based in Bangalore, India. I have been working with data analytics for the past 3 years, so not a lot of experience compared to a lot of people who have been here. I have a net work experience of 6 years. By qualification, I'm an engineer, and I have also done my master's in business administration. If I have to finish off my introduction, apart from Tableau, if I engage in anything that's Formula One, and I'm a huge Formula One fan, so I'm also building a number of dashboards behind the scenes right now. So, but they are regarding Formula One, and once they are done, I shall surely share them with everyone. Okay. Just to take you a brief through my Tableau journey so far. So I started working with Tableau in January 2019 with PwC. I joined Tableau Public in 2019 of September, and I'm pretty active on Workout Wednesday and Makeover Monday over the past 1 year. And it has been exactly 2 weeks after my first joining my first quiz that I published on Tableau Public, that I published my first VOTD that I'm going to take you through right now. And also consecutively on October 21, I was also featured in the Tableau featured author section. So thanks to Tableau for that. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through the data which we'll be working on today. The first part of my session which says, curving a bar chart. So this kind of a data intuitively, and what Tableau basically is built for is to very quickly create a very simple bar chart for this, or a column chart, as you may, if you, the kind of orientation, depending on the kind of orientation you prefer. So you have 12 job sectors. And this was a very interesting, article on LinkedIn published by George Anders, from where I got the data. So this was also a Makeover Monday challenge, and it shows it was a big analysis. The outcome of which was that there are 12 sectors which show the most, highest kind of requirement for entry level jobs. So you can see software and IT services, they need, 60.3% of all the job posts for this sector having kind of requiring a kind of a entry level skill set, but they need actually more than 3 years experience. So that's kind of a discrepancy which really attracted to me to this data set. Quite an insight. And so I'll take you through the data prep, but there was none in this case, thanks to Tableau itself. So no fuzzy work, no extra effort that you have to put. And what you're going to do is go from this chart. This will take you literally seconds to prepare in Tableau to this. This is my actual VOTD publication. Some of the components you can see there is a neuromorphic background, and then there is your main chart over here. I added some annotations as well. You have each sector labeled as well. And no, nothing much, quite pretty simple. It's just that I've used some kind of you can say simplification of certain trigonometric functions, and use some parameters to really create this beautiful curve over here, presenting the same simple bar chart in a much more eye-catching manner. So before we go through the solution and how I work this out, I'll, first we'll go through my thought process. So where do I get these ideas from? I'll just go back to my desktop and I'll go to Pinterest. If you go to Pinterest or Behance and you search for data visualizations, some of the best, database designers in the world are over here on Pinterest sharing their work, and you'll get a lot of ideas, something which you won't get, in a consolidated manner elsewhere. So you can see even we have a lot of, Tableau Zen masters and ambassadors sharing their work over here as well. So off the bat, you can see they are such beautiful viz. And the thing is, they, some of them are made in Tableau. Some of them use some other, platforms as well. But yes, what this, platform is really good for is to take up ideas and, try to implement them in Tableau. So I can say that, somehow where I got this idea for this beautiful curve was from, Pinterest itself. And then I obviously did my own calculation and made it real in Tableau. Okay, so the first part that I want to tell about this, visualization is this is actually broken up into a number of segments. So, I'm sure a lot of you know that whenever you have to make, such kind of plots, you have to use data densification. So there are a number of ways to implement that. So one of the easiest way is to just, union your data to itself, create a path field, when path is equal to this file name, it's one, else a larger number. And what you do is basically break down the angle, and then you can use it to further, make curves and, n number of, plot n number of Tableau functions. I made a little bit of tweak. I am not sure if someone has already, used that concept before. If has, I won't, take it as my original concept. But what I thought was, instead of, using a fixed number of segments for each line over here, which represents each job sector, what I'm going to do is I am going to have a total of 400 segments. And 100 segments each for plotting 25% of the values. So as you can see that, software and services was 60.3%. So it will be, broken up into 4 segments of 25% each. And each of these 25% is represented by 100 segments. And, then I'm going to write the corresponding X and Y coordinates and then make the plots. Another thing to remember before I go to Tableau and show you how I really did the calculations is to understand the angle. So how I'm working on the angles is from the x-axis, I'm starting clockwise. So in the first segment, this is, you can consider this the x-axis, and this is 0 degrees. And as you move onwards, this is the acute angle going all the way to 180 degrees over here. And when I'm going to the lower portions, this starts off from the 0 axis as a negative value, and then it goes to the another full 180 degree for the next 100 segments. Okay, so basically, since we have one value over 60%, basically above 50%, that is for software and IT services, that is the only job sector that will be flowing over into the third segment. I mean, you can plot other, plot 100% as well. You'll, have this curve take 3 turns to a full, plot the full 100% values. But that's not what's happening. It's just restricted to 60% for software and IT services. Okay, the next concept which I wanted to show you is the radius of curvature. I mean, when you plot X and Y coordinates, you have projections for each of them. The x-axis projection, that's the horizontal projection, and the vertical projection, that's your y-axis projection. So I have, so basically software and IT services is ranked 1 by value. So that is the rank variable. And I have used a parameter. I have basically used R1, R2, R3, and R4 for each of these 100 segments, each 25%, that is each 100 segment, to determine the radius of curvature of each of these lines. What may not be, obvious, but I'll show you in the presentation when I'm working on the actual graph, is the radius on the first 100 segment, the first 25% is much larger than the lower part. And for the third R3, this region, the second last segments, it's even smaller. So what my viz does is you can actually adjust the curvature of each of these 25% plotted values. So what is going to be the radius? If you have a point with coordinates x and y, the projection on x-axis is x cos theta, and the projection on the y-axis is y cos is the radius cos theta. Okay, where theta is the angle which we'll be calculating inside the visualization, and the radius actually, when we are plotting the first 25%, it's going to be rank plus R1. R1 is going to be a parameter, it's going to be a variable which we can use inside the Tableau. And rank is from 1 to 12. So software is ranked 1, manufacturer is ranked 2, and so on. So basically for software and service, the radius is rank 1 plus R1, whatever the value is. Okay, so just for making this to make this more clear to you, let's say we are using an initial radius of 12. So R1 is equal to 12. That makes rank plus R1 as 30. So this portion that I have marked as rank plus R1, this has a curvature of 13 units. Now, when I go to the second half of this visualization, you can notice that software and services, instead of being the one with the smallest curvature, is going towards the outside of the graph. So the rank part is going to change. It's not going to stay. It's no longer rank 1 over here. What I'm going to do is I am going to set it to rank 12. Okay, because it's now going towards the outside. So the rank part is now 13 minus rank. So you have 12 total sectors. Now it becomes 13 minus rank. So now for software and services, the effective rank is 13 minus 1, that's 12. It's the most outer line right now. And that is 12 plus R2. R2 will be another variable that we have. So this portion, so the radius for software and services will be 13 minus 1, that's 12, and I'm using R2 as 8 for the visualization. So 12 plus 8, that's 20, a radius of 20. Okay, and retail, of course, is towards the outside, towards the first 25% when it was being plotted. It had a radius of 12 plus R1, that's 12 plus 12, that was 24. And since it has a smaller value, it ends over there. But if it had continued, it would have 13 minus rank, that's 12, 1 plus R2, that's 9. So it will be plotted towards the inside. So let's say manufacturing, that will be 13 minus 2, that's 11 plus R2, 11 plus 8, that's, 13 minus 2 plus 8, yeah. 11 plus 8, that's 19. So it's 1 less than software and IT services. Okay. So this is how I'm varying the radii to, ensure that each of the sectors are plotted appropriately. So thank you. That goes towards the presentation. I'm done with it. I'll take you to Tableau and show you the calculations which I have done. This is the dashboard which I had published as my VOTD. I got a lot of feedback on this, and so the calculations which I had done over here, so these are pretty difficult to understand. They do not have a lot of generalizations. So I thought for the VisConnect session, what I'm going to do is I am going to generalize these calculations so I can tweak them on the go and make them much more easy for you to understand. So as I was saying, the initial radius, okay, so I have my 4 parameters over here, R1, R2, R3, R4, okay, and so this is 16 initially. Okay, I might have mentioned it as 12, that's a mistake. It's 16 actually for this initial segment. For this part, it's 8. For R3, again, I have made it to 12. And R4, I have set it as 2. So we are not going into R2 because, the highest value we are plotting right now is 60%. So let's not worry about that. If you change the values from here, the radius of the first segment changes. If I set it all to 8, now we are using the same radius for all the segments. But just to emphasize the initial part, since we have most of the job sectors ending over there in data. So what I did was I used 16 for this. Okay. Oh, sorry. It crashed. I'm going to reopen it. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Crashed for some reason. Anyways, okay. So let's go through the first part. So that's data densification, and I'll show you how I did in this case. So okay, we'll go to the data source first. So this is pretty simple. Not much that I've done. I've just union the data upon itself, and then I have a very good habit of creating a table first, so I can have a look of the calculations which I'm doing on the go before I do my plots. Helps me to keep the table calculation same, because a little bit of wrong calculations over there and your dashboard totally stops looking like this. So it just helps me make my calculations. So for starting off with path, this is the calculation for setting my path values. The table name is sheet 1, then it's 1, else it's value into line length. Line length is basically what I would call the total number of segments, that is 400 400 units that are being plotted on the x-axis. So that's set to line length as 400 in this case, and value is the actual value. So for design job sector, it was 47%. If you remember, those are converted to fractions when you load the data into Tableau. So that's 0.47, and 0.47 into line length will give you the total number of segments that need to be plotted. And for each of the different sectors, for so say for job design, it goes to 188. So 0.47 into 400, that's 188. And this changes for each of these different sectors. Okay. So let's say for education is a 0.45, so 0.45 into 400, that's 180. Okay. Next path is to create the actual data densification. So size of bin is 1. Now my data is, so now all my calculation will be according to path bin. I created an index calculation because you needed to make the plots, XML plots. I created rank. This is pretty simple. This is a rank on the window value. Okay, I skipped window value. So the value which comes from the data, this will be shown for the path values at 1 and the last, last segment value, that's 188, last index value. So just so that it's available over the entire table, we do a window calculation. So this is a pretty, simple things that's done. And then we'll go to the angle calculations. So as I had shown in my presentation, the first, just go back if I have to refer. So this goes from 0 to 180 degree. Okay. Actually, what happens is in Tableau, when you start with angles, it starts from the x-axis, okay, and it goes counterclockwise. So in this is not how, Tableau presents your angles by default. It starts from the x-axis and it goes counterclockwise. So so basically, to have 0 degree from this position and to go all the way to 180 degree, you have to go, uh, basically, okay. So what you'll have to plot is 180 degree minus this value. So since it starts from x axis and goes counterclockwise, this angle which we actually need is 180 degree minus that angle. And for that is why, that's not a bother right now. That is being calculated from x and y coordinates. But right now what we are doing actually is, so from index 1 to index 100, that is the first 100 segments, we are uniformly spreading out 180 degrees. So index -1 upon 180 degree into 100 segments. So each of the, so basically the whole 180 degree is being broken down into equal degrees of 100 by 180. So number of segments by total number of degrees. And when we go from 100 to 200, the next part of the curve, we are having negative values. So if this is a positive value, which we are showing in the first segment, this is negative of that. So this is minus of index -101 because we are already done with 100 segments over here, the first 100 indices. So this will be index -101 and the same fraction over here. When we go to 200 to 300, then it starts again in this same fashion, positive acute angles up to 180 degrees. So same formula which I've used here. Just one difference, starts from 201 because we have already plotted 201 segments. So this will be the 200 first segments, the start of the 200 first segment. And for the last part, that is beyond 300, that is the fourth part, it will be back to this value. So this will be 301. Okay. Okay, so these are the angles that we have determined for each of the four 100 value segments. Now we go to the actual x value that we need to plot. So I'll go through x generalized. Okay, so I just talked about it a bit earlier. So this angle is this starts from 0. So this is the logic behind how I'm plotting it. But Tableau considers the start of each angle from baseline, then it goes counterclockwise. So when I'm plotting these angles, this will be 180 degree minus this angle. So as I said, x projections, horizontal projections are radius into cos theta. Cos of 180 minus theta becomes minus of cos theta. So this is minus cos and this is the angle. Okay, this is the radius and this is the angle which I have already determined. And the radius will be, as I've already shown in my presentation, this will be, this part, rank plus R1. So rank we have already calculated using, we have a calculation for that. And R1 we have set as a parameter over here to 16. Okay, so as you can see, the first part, let's say this is software and IT services. So it starts from -17 and goes all the way to +70. These are your X value projections. Similarly, since it's rank plus R1, so for manufacturing, it will be 16 plus 2, 18. And this is being plotted from 18 or -18 to 18. So this is how it's plotting the first part. Okay, and I have created this parameter, so you can just change this value and the graph adjusts accordingly. Last time it crashed for some reason, so I'm not going to retry it right now. Maybe there's a later part of the session. Okay, and correspondingly, the horizontal projection. So this is pretty simple. This will be the sine of that angle, and because sine of 180 minus any angle is just sine of theta. So no need to make any adjustment in terms of uh, the negative or positive sign. Just stay as sine of angle into radius, that is rank plus R1. Okay, now we go to the next part, and that's where the tricky part is. I remember there's another visualization where the thing is uh, so they have used the same calculation. It's not the same calculation, but they are restricted to 360-degree values. When we do most of these data densification, we fix the angle to 360-degree. What I have done with my calculation is I have tried to break that barrier altogether. You don't need 360 degrees. You can plot beyond 100% as well, because I am allotting specific angles to different segments. So each segment is distributed across 25% values. So even beyond, you can, using this logic, you can even plot beyond your 100%, so beyond 360 degree as well. Okay, so sorry. So when we move to the next part, we have to take into consideration two factors. So the radius is going to change, and also there is going to be a displacement as to where the plotting is actually going to begin. Initially, we were starting from x is equal to 0. Okay, so if I just draw up a constant line at 0, uh, so this is where it started the first time. But this is now, these calculations are similar, except I'm going to turn them round, flip them horizontally, and I'm going to shift the center point as well. So how do I find out my center point? I'll go back to the presentation for this. So this was initially your 0, 0, the starting coordinates. Now this center point will be rank plus R1 plus the radius of this part. So when I'm shifting it, the new curvature, the new radius, as I had already explained, it's going to be 13 minus rank plus R2. So this is going to be the starting shift is going to be rank plus R1 plus 13 minus rank plus R2. Rank cancels out. What you're left is R1 plus R2 plus 13. That's what I have put in the calculation over here. So this part is the shift in X projections. So now we are going to plot considering R1 plus R2 plus 13 as my 0 point. Okay. And the next part is cos into radius. So the radius we have already calculated as 13 minus rank. So for, let's say, for software services, it's now 13 minus 1, 12 plus 8, that's 20. So this is the outermost right now. We're just flipping the rank by using 13 minus rank instead. This is the same portion which I'm going to copy over here. So this is now the new radius, 13 minus rank plus R2. And you get your X projections. You go to Y. There, for the Y-axis, you don't have to make any, vertical shift. So you just need to take care of the radius only. That's pretty simple. Once you're done with the X calculation, you just copy paste the same thing and change or remove all your X shifts and change the trigonometric function from cos to sine. That's it. The core part is just getting your X calculations right. For the next part, so this portion basically, so as you can see, this is the new starting point for the next segment, and that is, you put a constant line, that's 37, because 0 plus this part plus this part, so 0 plus 17 plus 20, this is the new radius, and this was 17, so this is 37 over here. Okay. Okay, next, okay, we're going to do X generalized. Okay, So for the third segment, what is going to be the shift in X projections? So it's going to be rank plus R1 plus 13 minus rank plus R2 into 2, that's the whole diameter, plus rank plus R3, that is the radius of the third segment. So when you sum up all of this, ranks get cancelled out. And what you're left with, R1 plus 2R2 plus R3 plus 26. Since we have a fixed number of, or even if it's not a fixed number of a number of job sectors, so you have 12, you can add, another parameter and set the value as 12 and also generalize this part, no need to write 13 and 26. But I, kept it this way just to make it easier to explain. A lot of variables in the calculation would seem a bit more confusing. So, then comes the next part, cos of the angle, and the radius will be rank plus R3 in this case. So this is R3 set to 12 right now, and rank will be the rank which we have calculated. And continuing with the Y projection, same thing, just the radius and the sine of the angle. For the final segment, which is right now not being plotted, but even if it was, so the calculation for that would be rank plus R1 plus 13 minus rank plus R2 into 2 plus rank plus R3 into 2 plus 13 minus rank plus R4. So that will be the total shift in horizontal projections, and that will come to R1 plus 2R2 plus 2R3 plus 39 minus cos angle, and the radius for the final segment is going to be 13 minus rank plus R4 that you can set over here. So once you have done that, it's the usual drill. You put X and Y, you calculate everything according to, path pin, and you get the final plot. That's not very complicated. I'm sure a lot of, most of the people attending session have done that part. So that's it for this visualization. Those are the core calculations that I have worked out. Anyone who is really interested into this can download this from my profile, and you can change the parameters, see how it works out. You can try to change the line length as well, and and see how the adjustments are working out. You can play around with the viz, and you can see you can change the overall structure accordingly. So I am now going to go to the second part of my visualization, and that's so what I'm going to do is, okay, I remove the background from the visualization, and you are left with a very plain looking chart apart from the bar chart on the curve chart. So the rest beautification that we were able to see was due to the neumorphic design elements that I have made as a background for this. You must have seen we did have a number of visualizations on Tableau Public as well, which are using the neumorphic concept. Particularly, remember there was a visualization on the Disney movies, which was using this. So there are a lot of tutorials. You can go to YouTube and you can browse through them. But there is a specific way which I make these, and I'll just go through that. It's pretty simple, not too complicated. And so yeah, I'll go. So basically what I use is Photoshop. A lot of people use Illustrator, people are using Figma, but since I am familiar with Photoshop a lot, so I use it. First, you have a blank canvas, okay? So you can select any color as the background. Just duplicate the layer because the initial layer is locked. I will advise you to, whenever you are, whenever you open a Photoshop and you create a blank, page, set the resolution exactly as the resolution of your WIS. That will make your life a lot easier. Once you have your canvas ready, just paint the background with the color that you are going to use as a background color. Don't put it into Tableau, put it over here itself, because this is what you're going to use as your background. Otherwise, if you are using neuromorphic elements for small buttons or everything, obviously what you're going to do is keep the background as blank, save it as a PNG file. Anyways, in this case, this is how I'm going to do it. Go to the rounded rectangle tool. This is just for example. You have other options, ellipses, polygons, a number of tools are available. Just drag it and then fill it and remove the stroke. Okay. And I'm going to, because I have the style as preset, I'm going to use it right away. Okay. So I'll show you what are the major components of the preset, so you can do it from scratch as well. So these are basically three effects, only three effects which I'm using. So first I'm using a color overlay. So whatever overlay you use, I will recommend use the same one as your background, or lighter or darker as per your taste. So I'm using the same one. So neuromorphic elements are about giving a bit of relief to whatever trying to highlight some of the parts of the chart. So you use generally the same color for the highlighted part as well, but with the help of shadows, you are able to make it appear raised or pushed down into the view. So I'm going to use a color which is pretty similar. Then you need to add two drop shadows. So imagine from the top minus 45 degree section, you have a source of light, and accordingly you will have to adjust the shadows. I'm just going to put some big values over here, so you can see the kind of changes it has. So from the part you're getting the light source, it will light up the edge, so it looks as if it's raised. Okay, select the blend mode and normal. You can change the color of your the shadow as well. I'm keeping it as white just for sake, assuming that it's a white light source. And from this part, the other part, the angle will be just reverse. It's 135 degrees, and I'm going to increase these values. So you can see there's a darker shadow, and it gives you an appearance that the whole segment is raised. Okay, so these are very simple, three small changes that you need to make and get this kind of an a raised visual. You can also reverse these angles, set the dark one as -1, -45, and I'll put this as -45, and if you put this as 145, it looks as if it's depressed. So this is also one very simple thing you can do to make your visualization stand out. So, and once you are done applying the effects, what you can do is you can just right click and you can save it from here as well. Save the layer style, so it appear as a preset over here. So whenever you are doing your upcoming visualizations, you can simply use the presets and create new elements much faster. So basically what I've done is I've already pre-created these three buttons which show the link to my LinkedIn profile, my Twitter profile, and my Tableau public profile. And whenever I create a new visualization, I just put them over here and add the relevant links. So that's pretty much from my side. So yeah, I mean, just to finish it off, as we all know, but just reiterating the fact, we are in the business of visualizing data. The first most important thing is the data has to be accurate. There's no concession on that front. The second part is it has to look good uh, and very easy to assimilate, and that's where design comes in. And to be able to balance, make sure of the first part and balance the second part, depending on the kind of hours you can spend on the design aspect, you can create pretty good data visualizations. So that's it from my side. If we have questions, we can go through those.
Hey, Arshad, thank you. Thank you for sharing your passion and inspiration behind this particular visualization.
Yeah,
So if you have any questions for Arshad, just go ahead and put it into the chat or Q&A box. Happy to ask him. I have one question, Arshad, and it is
yeah.
more in terms of how did you start your Tableau journey? And like if you want to give advice for someone who's just starting it, what will be that?
Yeah, sure. So my Tableau journey was purely an accident. Uh, Post joining my previous organization, one day I was just asked to make some visualizations. So basically, I joined as a data analyst, but one day I was asked to do some data visualization that was in Tableau. And I was told, yeah, it's a really good tool to get started with. And honestly, it is. You can using the Show Me tab, especially, you can create some really powerful visualizations very quickly. And loading data into Tableau, it's also very very simple and intuitive. So that's how my Tableau journey actually started. So one post I was done with making a number of haphazard bar charts and pie charts, custom from the Show Me tab. I was told about this platform, the Tableau public platform, by a friend. So one day I just, sometime later, I just thought, let's go see what's available over there. And I was absolutely stunned, shocked to see the kind of visualizations that they are. Literally anything which you can present, like even infographics, can be done so easily with Tableau. And the Tableau profile, the Tableau public is such a great platform. You have the latest version right and on your fingertips. You are using the latest things, the features that are available to you. So that is how the kind of my love affair started with Tableau. And I would say in the past half year, like 6 or 7 months, I have actually started interacting with the data fan community, and it has been a very very accelerated growth over there. I mean, you have your Tableau ambassadors, your Zen masters. uh, they are sharing so much of content, and it's so easy to understand that you can go from novice to a much above average expert in a very very short of time, if you just go through the lot of content that is already there, easily available. So that is how it started. And because I have been working on Tableau, I've been investing so much of time with Tableau and visualization over the past 6 months and a year. So this has kind of become my primary skill right now. And once you find your passion, you don't let it go. So that's how it is for me right now.
Thanks, Arshad, and very well articulated in terms of passion, right? Once you get
Yeah.
something to love, you just follow it with whole heart over there.
Yes,
One more thing in terms of feedback, right? You mentioned about creating simple bar charts and all in Tableau, right? And then the visualization you are creating now, what has been the transition over there? Because one thing which I have seen, like
yeah.
if you want to tell a story, right, you can go ahead and use anything to do. You can use simple bar charts also to do that. What
Yeah.
will be your advice to people on that? How they can transition from creating those simple bar charts to something what you have gone ahead and showed in the session today?
Yes. So there are two aspects to this. First is your hobby and passion, And the second part is your professional life, the professional aspect. To be very honest, something like this may or may not be appreciated when you're doing your own client work. But then, apart from a simple bar charts, there are a lot of, things which we can do to transition from a simple block design to something much better. I remember there was a very beautiful post by Ken Flurledge on his website, to I think it was very recent, and it was also they have put up a session in the latest Tableau conference as well, and they have put a number of tips. So when you are plotting a simple bar chart, you could just add dual axis and plot 100% value at the behind it to show a reference point, right? So there are very small tips and tricks that you can use to make your simple charts more intuitive, and that is where you take something of all this time that you are investing into as a into your passion, and use it to stand out in your professional life as well. So that is something which we have to explore. And Zen Masters are doing a great job over there. Apart from mind-boggling visualizations, uh, there are people they are also putting out a number of tips and tricks, which can help you make even simple pie charts. Pie chart is right there, but you turn it into a donut chart. How do you do it? That's not there by default. So you get a dual axis, create a center sphere, and turns to a donut chart. Looks so much better. So there is a lot of content out there done by Zen Master ambassadors, and a lot of people like me go through those. You have to explore the data fan community on Twitter, and it's such a learning and humbling experience. You feel you did a great job. You go to data fam, and then you realize, my goodness, you are way so behind. And download every good Tableau guy over here on who is there on Tableau Public has put up his entire most of the vizzes that Zen Masters and others have put over there are downloadable. So they are not hiding anything. So it's right out there for you to download and explore. And you can always pose them questions on their own blogs, and get answers to them. Everyone is so very, very responsive. So I mean, Tableau and the community is doing so much to facilitate you, more than any other community out there for any other data visualization tool. So make use of it. That's it. As far as how my journey went, I just include something. So I started out with Workout Wednesday. So Workout Wednesday, see, Makeover Monday, it becomes more like of your artwork. People are just pushing simple data sets into beautiful things, like the one which I did for my VOTD. But Makeover Monday, Workout Wednesday goes into the realm of perfecting your skills and doing something really creative and difficult in Tableau, and still very, very useful. I mean, for any kind of data, like your basket analysis, some other different kind of analysis, I just learned by doing Workout Wednesday challenges. So I will advise everyone to go over there and start with, working out all those challenges. And if you work out at least, 1, 2 challenges from each of the segments, like table calculations or so on and so forth, you will feel the difference yourself. Your own professional work will end up taking up much less time that it was previously. So that's how you can do.
Thank you, Asha. Just one last question. If someone wants to start with Tableau community,
Yeah.
what will be your advice for them? How they can go ahead and do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm the kind of a person who runs away from social media, but I'm there on Twitter, and I'm there for Data Fam. So join Twitter, and follow Data Fam. That's the best way to get started. You'll get to know all the community initiatives that are there. Which and I think there are if you go to the Tableau Public website as well, you can find all these links. So you have Sports Fit Sunday, Tidy Tuesday, everything is right there. just explore the Tableau public website. You'll get to know everything. Go to the blog posts that they are there. So it has pretty much everything. And, start following the inspirational visits that you can see. Start following those authors. And, whenever you go to the Discover tab and you see something, published, which you don't, get that click, okay, this was done this way. Download that ways. It will always be downloadable. Most of the authors have put their visits as downloadable. Download it and see how it's done. And any of the famous, the popular authors that are all there, they're not there just after a month of work. There's years of slog behind it. Goes for everyone, and just be prepared for some hard work, and you'll get results. And the data fam is always there to appreciate all your good work. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward that way. Just you have to invest some time, honestly.
Hey, thank you, Arshad, for that. And I will add to it, the first thing you should go ahead and do if you want to start your, I think, journey with Tableau community is that create a Tableau public profile. You just go
Yeah.
ahead, create a profile, create your first visualization, post it over there. Then, if you are a social media person and you're using Twitter, go ahead and search that hashtag data fam and just go ahead and put your visualization over there. Reach out to the Tableau Zen masters, ask them for the feedback, and from there you can go ahead and start your journey. I think one analogy which I give everyone in terms of how you can improve your craft of data visualization and storytelling is to go ahead and participate in all the Tableau community channels and take it. You want to go ahead and improve on it, right? Have that growth mindset. And I think you can see how Arshad has gone ahead and got a value out of it. So it's a journey. Go ahead, invest in it, and you will get a lot of value from it. So with that, Arshad, thanks a lot for sharing your passion, inspiration, and your journey with our Data Fam community on WizConnect.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sagar. Thanks for having me. This has been a great session.